everybody, it's Jack from Atlantis Water Gardens. Welcome to New Hope, Pennsylvania. We're in the backyard of a really nice house up here on a hill, 15 acres. Right back here in this nook, we've got a lot of windows. So that's the kitchen window, which is actually gonna be the main viewing area for what we're building back here. So inside this whole brand new patio space, we're gonna be building about a 14-foot long pondless waterfall. From bottom to top, we're talking over 5 feet of elevation. So we've got lots of elevation to play with, which is always awesome when you're building a waterfall, especially with a natural slope. We can just carve in and create our cascades in here. We don't have to build anything up. We've got a nice selection of boulders to work with. Some of these are gonna be 2 tons. So we've got a lot of elevation to make up here, but we got the big rocks to do it. The idea here is down the bottom where we meet the patio, we're gonna be installing a nice big reservoir with pump vault. Then we can go ahead and carve into this, getting our fabric and our liner in, creating our cascades as we work our way up to the top of the hill.
Get it in the hole. Oh yeah.
It's gonna come around. You'll be able to slide down first.
We've got 14 small aqua blocks. There's all kind of cocooned inside our layers of fabric, liner, and then fabric. Once we unfold it, I'll show you what that all looks like. Our pump vault is there on the corner. That's gonna be close enough and out of the way, out of the line of sight from the back windows here. But what you can see here, we have carved out this back space. So that's gonna be our first shelf, and that's gonna be the area where we set these large, heavy, bulky boulders down here on the bottom to really frame out this space. That's why we carved out and leveled it off with the top of our blocks. So as we set those rocks in, that's gonna be the framework for what we are able to build behind it. See, we might end up carving a little bit more of that, but we really, really wanna get these rocks that are gonna be about 3 and 4 feet tall here in the bottom. And that's really, really gonna set this apart and make it look like it's part of this hillside and that it's been part of this for a long time. So let's get to it, guys.
This incline is starting to make these boulders look a little small. Our reservoir is all in, nicely set. We're starting to set some more rocks as our base layer. We've got some big framers here. That one there is every bit of 3,000 pounds. What we've done is actually started our layering. So back behind what is gonna be our last drop into the reservoir, we put in a layer of gravel. What that's doing is giving us the ability to set these rocks and place them at the elevation that we want. So if we want to go a little bit lower, take a little bit of gravel out, settle it down. If we need to level it out, take a little gravel, add a little gravel. That makes things super simple. Also gives us a nice cushion between the rock and the liner itself. But that big guy back there has this one in front of it, and we set it so that the sloped edge just slowly exposes a lot more of the face of that rock, and kind of the same thing down in front of it. This is where we're gonna have another set of waterfalls right here. So we've got that lower section, just a little bump going into the reservoir. Here, it's gonna be a nice drop. Anthony's gonna do one of his stacked slate walls in between that gap, and then on top, we're gonna set a nice big slab of stone spilling right into here. We'll tuck a light back in this corner here where you can't see it. It's gonna highlight that cascade as well as the nice stonework he's gonna do back in the corner. Boley's prepping another section to get some gravel in. Our aqua blocks go all the way back to there. So we're gonna cover that up so we can get that layer of gravel on, because we don't want the gravel going down into our blocks. We're using like a 3/4 inch river stone. This stuff's really nice and easy to shovel around. We can manipulate it super quickly to set these rocks in, and it's nice and smooth and round. One other thing we'll be incorporating into this water feature is these bronze statues. Now, Al had these sitting in the yard. He's like, can we use these? I was like, absolutely. I mean, it's water related. You got a boy here who's playing with a frog on a lily pad, and there's a girl who looks like she's ready to dip her feet in the water. So we got to find some creative ways to incorporate this into this water feature. Later on down the line, he's going to have a set of stairs going up around the side to get to the top section of the yard, and he's going to fully landscape this entire back section of this patio. By the end of today, I expect this waterfall to be completely framed out with all the big boulders. We'll probably set those 2 statues, which is going to leave us just a little bit of finished work to get this thing all done. Let's make it happen. Yep. So while Drew and Anthony do that important detail work, we are at a standstill. We've gotten all of our base rocks and flanking rocks in on this whole lower section up to the point where Anthony's building the wall for what's going to be that main drop. Once he gets that done, we can backfill that entire area with gravel and then carve back for our next set of cascades and all framing rocks.
So the wall I'm building is going to be our last waterfall drop into the reservoir. And one thing about this wall, it's going to be pretty tall and it's going to be supporting a good little bit of weight. So while I'm building it, I'm actually putting in these tie backs that are going to go back about a foot or so into the gravel as we build it. And that's just to help give it some structure and some support. So that way once we do put some weight on it and over time, it doesn't actually settle and even fall forward and just collapse.
I imagine Ant's going to be done in here in the next 10 minutes, right, Ant? We got this section of waterfall all buttoned up. Look at that stack stone Anthony did. That looks amazing. The waterfall stone is set on top of it. We're ready to go with the next section. Now we're gonna pull back our heavy fabric. This is our rock pad. This stuff's like a 1/4 inch thick. It's super strong. That's gonna line this whole excavation here right up the back. Then we'll pull this liner back into there, and then they'll be followed by another layer of rock pad on top of this liner, making sure we got great protection underneath and on top. Because when we set those big boulders, we don't want any problems. This is going to be our 3rd set of waterfalls from the bottom. After that, we've got one more set that starts up top. We'll be using a spillway. I'm going to show you how we hide that. But let's get this liner pulled back, set some more rocks, and create some more beautiful waterfalls. As it is with most projects, finish work is everything. Whether you're doing a kitchen, a bathroom, everybody sees the finish work. So it's extremely important that you take your time and it comes out perfect. And it's no different for waterfalls. The way the rock work finishes up against each other is critical. And then putting in the aquatic plants, what's gonna happen here eventually is this bacopa will grow over this rock, kind of masking just this one intersection here with the weir stone and the frame rock, but it's gonna soften things up. Then just hiding lights, the way we hide lights, you want to make sure when this thing is running during the day, you're not staring at fixtures. It's extremely important to make sure you're aiming those fixtures away from the viewing area. The way the statue's going in here, we want to make sure we kind of hide the base. There's a whole base under there that's actually keeping her nice and stable, but we don't want to see it. I want it so that when the water's running, her foot is probably just in the water, just like it depicts with the piece of art. We're at the top of the waterfall now. These are the last set of frame rocks we're gonna have a waterfall spilling through. This is gonna be super cool. What I'm gonna have Anthony do is build a stacked slate wall in here, bringing it up to about this level. We're gonna take one of our big flat stones that we have over there, and we're gonna bridge the gap in between here. What I think I might have him do is actually do a saw cut in this stone. I want to countersink that so that we can get water rolling off this. The way this stone is pitched down and to the left, we should get water coming down here and then raining off with another cascade back behind it. That is going to be such a great look. And then up behind there, once that's done, we can go ahead and pull our liner up. We'll backfill it all up about 3 inches below the weir, creating a pool that we can put our diffuser in. And then we'll take the little boy chasing the frog, put him up in that pool so it looks like the frog is jumping into the water. We are finished. This looks amazing. This is probably one of my favorite small, well, it's not really small. It's got 16 tons of boulders in it, but it looks incredible. I love the slope we were able to work with, but having these huge boulders here just sends it over the top. Let's go see what they think.
That is so cool. I love it, I love it, I love it. Oh wow, that is awesome. I am so happy with that. Oh my God, you guys did a great job. Thank you so much.